What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Real Junkies. I'm your host, Farhan. Here again, my man Vito, reviewing Masters of the Universe, which was surprisingly very good. Which honestly, I shouldn't be that surprised because once I saw who directed this, once I saw the director, I was like, all right, I should have known this was gonna have a little something to it.
You have
Um,
high hopes in people.
I have high notes. I have high hopes in Travis Knight. Yes, who we haven't seen in a while. Last time he directed something was Bumblebee, which is like 2018, 2019. So it's been a while. He went
Did
on
you
a
like
little.
Bumblebee?
Yes, I love Bumblebee.
I thought it was okay. We already know how I feel about period pieces, so that kind of took away from it from me. And then just honestly, John Cena was probably the best part of that movie. He
He was a
goes,
highlight.
"They're called the Decepticons." Like, why are we trusting them? But like when they do like these when they do these timepieces, and I know I'm gonna do my I guess get my rant out the way. When they do do these time periods, man, and they take it back, it kind of takes away from the already established universe because in the Transformer movies, these Transformers are new to people.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, when you get in the later ones, they're like, "Oh, they've been here for years." But like the current government, they not ready for these Transformers, and that Bumblebee movie makes you believe that hey, they've always been a part of this.
they've been a part of like
Um,
regular society.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
and
real.
then we got Beast Wars with I don't know, I forget what buddy's name, the dude from She's Gotta Have It remake.
Hmm. Hmm.
He was in there, and, it was pretty good, and they're, like, teasing a G.I. Joe Transformer thing, so which, honestly, I guess this isn't much of a spoof because then we get to Master of the Universe because all those are toys made by Mattel,
Yeah, I'm about to say
and
all under the same brand, so we
and
still in the same
yeah,
vein.
and He-Man, I was reading up on it because 'cause I'm like, the comics came later, and I'm like, looking at his outfit, I'm like, it's kinda a little gay, alright? I'm looking at it like it's a little gay. So I'm looking up the history of this, like,
Yeah.
I don't think these were comic books, and they were, but they came later. The
Hmm.
He-Man action figures came first. Mattel
Hmm.
made this character to sell toys, then
Yep.
the cartoons came, then the comic books came. But I guess, like, from his outfit and uniform that he wears, like,
Yeah.
he has become a cultural icon in the gay community as far as, like, superheroes and action figures and shit. Like, they've
Mm.
co-opted him a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, I'm, like, looking at him like, come on, think about it. How many you not seeing no current characters anywhere dressed like that.
No, it's a
It's
unique
it's
look.
it's
It's a unique
very
look.
unique, and I don't even wanna say unique because then it give it a different kinda connotation, but, uh,
Yeah.
it's nothing that I would assume a heterosexual male will wear,
Fair enough,
and
fair enough.
I
I'm
think
not
they
even gonna look at
kinda
He-Man the same anymore
yeah,
now that you
I
said that, I'm not gonna lie.
I kinda so I'm watching it, and they kinda make a joke about it at one point, like, "Where did his clothes go?"
Yeah, facts.
Multiple times.
Yeah, yes.
So, I mean, I know you're a lot better at telling the story about what the movie is without giving spoilers. Imma try and just stop me. Um,
Just stop you?
yeah,
Alright,
so we
bet.
all see from the trailers that, he is living in the real world, okay?
Yeah, well, I ain't
Uh,
gonna lie, one thing this movie does do a really good job of before you even get to the real world is setting up Eternia,
uh-huh.
which was like one of that was like the biggest thing that drew me in first, right? It opens up with the narration from Adam slash He-Man, played by Nicholas Galanzine. I think I said his name right. And he
I
gives like
just
this
wanna
whole
point out, before you finish, he's
yeah.
been in a lot of movies as a gay character. I don't know what his
You are
background is.
determined to draw a connection between
It's not
this.
no, to be honest with you, it's not even me drawing a
Yeah,
connection.
no,
I
no,
like,
no,
when I
I'm
looked at
talking
the
shit.
actress, I'm looking at the nigga, I'm
Yeah,
like, "Damn, he looked familiar, but it's nothing I've
yeah,
seen him in." And
yeah.
I started looking at his, filmography, and I'm like, "Okay, I remember saying about this movie. Oh, whoa,
Mm.
yeah, this is this one."
Okay, I
Um,
actually haven't I can't think if I've seen him in anything prior to this. If I have, I don't remember.
I'm t
This is
hey, look up, look up He-Man on Wikipedia, bro, and there's a whole section
whole page, really.
about it because, like, I guess he was just that big, but look at every other
Mhm.
superhero at the time,
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah,
87 type time frame.
yeah,
You're not gonna get a character that's dressed like that, and
yeah, no, that's fair.
I think he's like, and then even Skeletor. Skeletor is wearing a fucking drawers and a cape,
I mean, when you put it like that, it wasn't a
um
granted.
No.
Master of the Universe was a little before my time, so I didn't like grow up watching it. But that's fair enough. I'm not as familiar with the cartoon. It wasn't like something I cut on that much as a kid.
And I don't know if like the creator was like, "Yeah, let's make this nigga gay." I don't know if
Yeah,
it's like that or if it just that's just what it just became a thing because
became a thing.
we know people co-opt things that they feel close to. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure. He-Man was never like interesting to me. So when you're like, let's watch He-Man, I'm like, this shit gonna be ass.
Yeah, no, it turned out pretty decent. It has it has its ebbs and flows though. Like it's not enjoyable throughout, which is my main thing, and I'll get into a little bit of that later. But the way they set up Eternia, the universe where He-Man and all of them are from, that I thought that was a very good setup. To set up the lore, you get an idea of how what their culture is like, what their ideals are, values, how the society works. You also set up Adam and his relationship with his parents, both of his parents, how different that is, his relationship to society, and just terms of he's this prince and he has a lot of responsibility because of that, but his personality doesn't really match the responsibilities being put
No.
on him. You know what I'm saying? So there's that internal conflict. So I thought that was set up very well. And like I said, directed by Travis Knight, we've seen what he can do with Mattel properties before with what he did with Bumblebee. And also he directed Kubo and the Two Strings as well, which is not attached to Mattel, but an animated film that got very, very high reviews. If I'm not tripping, got an Oscar nomination, but this is from like 2015, 2016, so it's been a while. But to me, the film switches a little bit when you transition to Earth. You see the scene in the trailer where Skeletor attacks Eternia and Adam gets sent to Earth along with the Power Sword as a way to protect it and him. Once the film gets to Earth, it kind of comes to a shrieking halt, in my opinion. It's the interest level for me goes from like way up here to like down a couple
It went
notches, and it
into
stays
full
there,
comedy mode.
bro. It goes into full
And
comedy
it's
mode,
not
but it
that funny.
stays there. Yeah, no, I was gonna get to
Um,
that too. Like it stays, it like stays in this little space on Earth where he's like this. I don't even want to say fish out of water because he understands how Earth works.
that's
He's
the
just
problem. That's why it's so bad. That's why it's
yeah,
so bad. So like he's been here for like I think she said 15 years. So
it's like
he's been
15
on
years.
Earth
Yeah,
for 15 years. They don't say like how he grew up, who he's with, and like I said, him narrating that part was funny. You know,
yeah,
he's doing his narration, and then when it opens to finishing the story, it's him on a date.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
obviously he's telling this story as this is a fact, which it is for
yeah.
him, but you have to
To this
realize,
girl,
nigga,
she like, "What?"
we're on Earth, and you talking
Yeah.
about this magical space sword and talking green tigers and a skeleton nigga and I guess
And a sorceress,
in
like,
the
yeah,
He-Man lore, a
yeah.
Skeletor is his uncle, which is crazy.
I actually
Um,
didn't know that.
again, I Wikipedia this shit when I finished because
You
it
said
was
you
so
did a
many.
deep dive.
It was
Yeah,
so many things I had questions about, like why is Skeletor built this way.
yeah,
You know, so he should be acclimated to Earth society, but he's still acting as like he's working a real job
mm,
while still like, oh yeah, people are going to believe me.
mhm,
Meanwhile, again, this is Earth. Like think about just being in a regular. I mean, we're on Earth with regular shit happening. So think about a nigga come up to you like, yeah, really, I'm from Eternia, nigga, and I got this power sword, and
yeah.
my witch a secret witch sent me or sorceress sent me to this to Earth to protect me, and then you know I just got to get back. And as soon as I find my sword, I'm gonna get back to that. And it's this
It's literally
green
how he
tiger that I
sounds.
got, and it's this nigga that he got this magic, this mechanical mace that turns to a gun, and his head comes on. It's like all this crate, like you sound like a madman, and
Yeah,
like I said, it's funny originally when on the date, but it keeps going on. Like it's a
yeah,
joke that goes on too
yeah.
much. And before we get deeper into the story, I just want to give out a shout out to our Black Queen, and I always forget her name because she was only on Saturday Night Live for a few seasons. Zara Zamedi. I cannot find. She's this low on the fucking totem
I was
pole.
trying to remember
Uh,
who you're even talking about. That's how low.
Zashir Zamata. She was the his supervisor.
You right, yes, his
And
boss when he was on Earth. Yes, yes.
this is like I said, she was only on SNL a few seasons because again, they were not keeping black women on there like that.
Yeah,
But he's working at HR. And again, like I said, there's no build up to like how he got this, how he's living his life, how he got this apartment, how he got this job. but he's supposedly really good at his job. Like, he's good at
Yeah.
talking people down, he's good at mediation, but how? Why?
Yeah,
I
like,
feel
where do
like
you
they
get
shoulda
those
gave him
skills?
maybe he shoulda been a homeless man. Maybe he shoulda had a different, like, menial, I don't wanna say menial, but, like, maybe he shoulda been working a labor-intensive job,
Yeah,
something that wouldn't have required much story. Like you
yeah,
said, they do a great job of building a world of Eternia, and even once we get back to Eternia, giving us a quick backdrop or backstory about what's been going on all these years. But
mhm.
his life on Earth is like, I dropped out of the sky, lost my sword, and now I'm just here. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Weirdly enough, his life on Earth is probably the least believable thing in this movie. In a movie about about fucking witches and magic swords and skeleton niggas. Like, his life on Earth was the one that made the least sense because it was like, well, how did you get here with no support system, no real understanding of the world you're a part of? Like, you're starting from ground level just 'cause you don't know what Earth is. Like,
exactly.
you're complete fish out of water here and you're a child and somehow went from that to working in
Oh
HR and
wait,
being very good
we
at
do
your
have to
job with
remember
no
that
lead up.
his mom, bless you, his mom
Feelings.
is from Earth, but they do not expand on that at all. She when they're trying to figure out where to send him, she's like, "Oh, somewhere Skeletor would never find him. My
Oh,
home
yes,
world."
yes, yes.
But this also doesn't make sense because Skeletor finds him once he finds the Sword of Power. He's found by a lot of people. So it's like, what was the point of sending him there? I thought there would have been a lot of bless you. It's that time of year, dog.
Hey, it's that
I thought
time.
I thought there would have been a better explanation about how he got back to Eternia. I really did not like that. And that just I'm like I said, it's not a perfect movie. It is I thought it was a good movie, but there are some lulls in this movie, and there are some things that kinda were not r uh, thought out, and that's one of 'em. It's how he got back to
Yeah.
Eternia because, again, this is supposed to be a place that Skeletor will never find him. Skeletor
And
finds
then
him.
immediately, like, as soon as he picks up the sword, finds him. But no, I think that if there was, like, one part of this movie that I think, like, could have been cut out or cut in short is literally his entire time on Earth, like, from
Yeah.
start to finish. Like, that whole sequence, I think, went on for a long time. And what you actually said something that kinda leads into one of my other critiques of this movie. And then I'll kinda just stick with positives because overall I did enjoy this. But there's 2 critiques I wanna get out the way. 1, that entire scene on Earth. 2, I guess 3 critiques. 2, the movie itself is a little too long. Like, it's like
Yeah, it
2
was
hours and 20
very long.
minutes, and there's a lot of scenes in here where I was looking like, "Ah, yeah,
Could've been
this
gone.
we coulda did without this," and it was, like, noticeable as I'm watching it. But really the main thing, and you mentioned this already, is there's a lot this movie tries to be very comedic, and I get it. It's Masters of the Universe. This is not something that needs to take itself serious. So I expected a fun, kinda mindless type of adventure. That's kinda what I was expecting, right? But when you have these very strong action set pieces and it's a really strong action scene and, characters are, giving their all in these battles and then you just throw a weird ass joke in there that don't hit, it kind of ruins the moment a little bit. And they do that throughout the movie with both action scenes and with like very heavy dramatic moments. It'll be like a very heavy dramatic scene and they'll just throw a joke in there that for me didn't hit. Like I would say most of the jokes in this movie didn't hit for me. There were a couple in here that I was like, okay, that got a chuckle. Most of whom were Jared Leto as Skeletor. I'm not gonna lie. He
Yeah,
was
that
the
nigga nah, and I'm a
he was
Jared
the
Leto
highlight.
hater,
Yeah.
so
Yo, he was the highlight. He was the best part of this movie by far. Jared Leto as Skeletor, in my opinion. I think he was
no,
the best part of this movie.
100% on what you're saying about the jokes though. Like I said, it was a lot funnier than what I expected it to be. I didn't wish it to be this funny, but they're taking on that whole thing with Marvel has been doing.
It's
Marvel
a, it's a,
takes
yes.
they take these fucking scenes that are heavy in action or very dramatic, and then somebody has to make a joke. I
Yeah.
mean, it's usually Tony Stark. It's usually one of those people that we've been conditioned to believe, hey, they don't take shit serious.
Mhm.
But in this one, it's everybody. Like even serious ass conversations are trying to be funny, and I
Yes.
think one of the ways they did that with is all these characters in this movie have real names. Okay, they have real names that were given to them, but I guess that's kind of them making fun of the original creators of this because Adam has given them real. He's given them names to what he knows, and it's
Yeah.
and that shit was funny because, like, one of the guy has a giant hand, he calls him Fisto. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you fist people."
Yeah,
Like,
like,
so
no, it was
like
quite a few innuendos in
like
this. I was like, "I thought this was supposed to
yeah.
be like a semi-kids movie. Y'all
So,
not."
it's funny, but then he just keeps saying it, so
Yeah,
he's overdoing it. And then there's a
yeah.
guy that, is it Ramhead? They call
Ramhead,
him?
yeah.
He
Ram Man.
Ram Man. He like, yeah, he rams people. He rams men. And like there's a
He's like,
scene
"Whoa."
there's a scene where like Fisto and we don't I think they say their real names. One of them says their real name before, but
Mhm.
then they just don't anymore.
They
So
just
like
don't anymore,
so
like,
you don't
after
even
that.
know most of their real names. You know 'em by what their original names were.
Yeah.
And he says something like, yeah, let's go. He is, yeah, go give them head. And they stop and they're like, he looks at him. He's like, "Yo," it's
Like,
like,
"Whoa."
so like it's funny, but at the same time they start overdoing it and overdoing it and overdoing it. So
Yes.
like you said, where it's this, we in the middle of battle, we getting shit done, and then joke, joke, joke. Oh,
Yeah.
mind you, there's a motherfucker who has a long neck, or he has a mechanical neck,
Yep.
and I didn't even remember his name. I think I had to use the bathroom when they said what his name was. So
I'm trying to remember his name too, honestly, now.
but literally his neck
Mecha Neck.
mecha mecha neck.
Mecha Neck.
Bro, that's something you call a la I ain't gonna even go into it, bro. We're gonna
I was
move
about to
on.
say,
But
hey, hey,
but
hey, hey, hey,
he
hey.
literally whips his head at people like a fucking giraffe, knocking them
Yes.
out, and, like, he'll take his neck and whip it around somebody, and there are
Mhm.
no, female enemies except, is it Evil Lynn?
Evelyn, who is
It was
so bad in this.
played by,
She is terrible.
Allison Brie, gorgeous
Yeah.
still, but it
Yeah,
it
no,
just
no,
it was
nothing
very
against the actress. Like,
it's
I don't blame the actress who played Evelyn. I blame entirely the script and what that
the
character was
writing of
given to
it.
do, because they just said, "We're just gonna have her tell jokes, be corny, and get physically and verbally abused by Skeletor,
But the
and that's her role."
and
And it's just like,
and
why was she here?
and I wanna get back to the story, but the 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 physical abuse that she's receiving is so confusing because he'll, like, choke her up and, like, she'll, like, smirk a little
She,
bit.
like, smiled.
But then she's
Yeah,
like, "Ah, I don't like this." Like, literally at
yeah,
the same time, which I still don't understand. I'm still confused on this. But, like, she's smiling during it, the only thing that looks like hurts her is the verbal abuse. But
mhm.
then he starts choking her or hemming her up, and she's, like, excited, like, and she's into some type of BDSM shit. But, back to the story. When Adam comes back to Eternia, the only person that knows who he is and recognizes him immediately is, and I'm gonna tell you what my problem with
Tila.
this is. It's Tila, who's played by
Yeah.
Camila Mendez, who again, I think she's a good actress, but she does not pick good roles. I mean, she was in Riverdale for fucking however many seasons, and
All of them, I
if
think.
you've seen Riverdale, you know how ridiculous that fucking show is. And
Yeah, Riverdale went off the rails after a while. Started
yeah,
strong,
it was
but went
off
off
the
the
I mean,
rails.
it was okay, but it was off the rails when it started. Why are fucking 4 kids breaking another kid out of prison?
Yeah,
And
no,
then a nigga
it's
gets attacked by a bear and survives?
yeah, like it starts crazy, but it
It
goes
gets
off the
crazy,
rails
like
after, yeah, like
magical
it goes
powers and
actually
shit,
off the
and
rails. Yeah, like you ain't about to sit here and act like the way we started was the way we ended there.
yeah.
That shit went left quick.
But,
Um,
when
but no,
she
she did a good
introduces
job in this
yeah,
though.
she did, but when she introduces him to everybody else, they're like, "Nah, I don't believe that. How what's my name?" And it's
Yeah.
weird because they don't show any interaction between him and the other people, as a child.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
we're not honestly, we shouldn't believe that he knows them. It's just it's a very weird setup, but like I said, that's when he introduces himself and he's like, "Oh, yeah, this is your name. This is your name." And he's, like, saying shit that they should know that it's him, but they don't really believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think one I would say kind of piggybacking off of Tila a little bit. I thought her relationship with Idris Elba's character Duncan, and I know Duncan is not like his real name in the Master of the Universe lore. I think he has like another, I don't even know
Goofy
what to call
name.
it. Yeah, I think he has another goofy name too, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Their relationship I thought was really strong, and I thought the dynamic between them in this
It was
movie, when I say like,
interesting, yeah.
yeah, it was very interesting. And when I was mentioning those scenes of like very heavy dramatic moments that were interrupted by dumb jokes, A lot of those were involving her and Idris Elba's
Yeah.
character, and Adam a little bit as well, but mainly between those two. Because I think there's some scenes between Idris Elba's character Duncan and He Man that are it's, very heartfelt, have a lot of dramatic weight to them as well. But the core and the crux of that, like where that comes from, is really coming from the relationship Tila has with Duncan. I'm not going to go too much into what the relationship is, but that relationship is, I think, the heart of a lot of the dramatic scenes in this movie.
But and this is the thing, I love movies that don't take themselves too seriously, which again, He-Man
That's
was made
this.
to sell toys.
Yeah.
It was. And I guess what it was because I'm looking at I'm like, this sword, everything about it. Like I'm looking at the picture, the poster of it with him holding the sword up.
Mhm.
I'm like, damn, this kind of remind me of Star Wars. And
Some
again,
similarities.
that's why they made He-Man.
Mhm.
The Star Wars wanted their action figures to be made, and I guess Mattel didn't wanna pay Star Wars what they wanted,
Yeah.
so they didn't go with them. So now they wanna sell some toys, they need something else to go with. He-Man comes along, he has a sword, and we've seen this throughout years, and Imma get right back on subject. But the original Star Wars poster with Luke holding his lightsaber up, going
Mhm.
up to the top, Leia to his side, Han,
Yeah.
Luke. We've seen this fucking picture poster reused multiple times. But with He-Man, that's literally this nigga's pose that he has
Pose,
to
yes.
do to get his powers.
Yes.
Like you said, I once they got to Eternia, I think it really did the action the story ramped up fast. Like,
Yes.
even though like you said, there are still some scenes that you're like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking long. Why is this
Yeah.
happening?"
Yes.
That happened, but, like, soon as that's done, they go right into the next thing and right into the next thing. Oh, man, it's another scene where they're talking about some shit I don't really care about. They're trying to decide this, trying to decide that, and then boom, it's happening again, happening again,
Yeah.
happening again. Um, like I said, the only issue the biggest issue is the losses in this movie are, like, very noticeable. It's
Yes.
very noticeable. So you go right to, "Okay, this happening. Alright, man, what fucking time is it? How long is
Yeah.
this movie? How much time
Yeah.
do I got left?" And then the interrupting jokes. I love that it doesn't take itself too seriously, but that kinda becomes a negative because there's this very emotional scene between Duncan and Tila, after Adam gets his powers. And you like, "Okay, alright, Duncan, you about to do some shit."
Mhm.
And then he ruins it. And it's like, it kinda it does go to their relationship and the story, but then it's also like, "What the fuck was that?" Like, it could have been
Yeah.
just not the time. That robot was funny as fuck.
Yeah, shout out to the robot they had with them. That character, that's why I say, like, some of the jokes in here hit, but to me, most of the jokes that hit in this were either from Skeletor, from the robot, and then that's kinda it. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
Oh,
that's
guess who
kinda
the
it.
fuck that is?
Who?
Kristen Wiig.
Really?
Again,
I was
another
wondering, I was like, "That voice sounds familiar."
it
That
did.
makes sense now. Yes.
Another, SNL alum, but her name is Roboto.
Yes.
So
Okay. I was
so
wondering, I was like, who was voicing this character?
Um,
'Cause I recognize it. I didn't recognize it as Kristen Wiig at
Also,
first. Okay.
while we're here, Marina Baccarin is in there. I
Yes.
feel like this movie wasted a lot of actors. Idris Elba being one of them. I think that was a waste of Idris Elba. Although Idris Elba is a great actor, it was just odd, man. It felt
Yeah.
really odd for him to be in that role. But my nigga getting money. He getting that fucking Marvel money, which is
Yeah, I was about to
Disney.
say, I ain't
He
mad at
getting
it.
that DC money. He getting the fucking Mattel money.
Yeah, he
Uh,
got if you got a franchise, call Idris, he
Oh,
down.
Idris,
Like,
he in
he's
that
with it.
bitch. I'm just waiting on what Netflix, not Netflix, Paramount, Nickelodeon, maybe. Maybe
Oh,
he should
yeah.
have been the James Bond nigga. Maybe he'll be in the next James Bond. He might not be
Did you
James Bond, but
did
he
you
gonna
hear
be in
about
that
his
movie.
did you hear his comments? They asked him about
Yeah, I
wanting to be
so
James Bond?
this is the
Yeah.
thing, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree that
I
James
don't.
Bond should be a white man for
I do
this
not.
reason. Well,
Okay.
so this is the thing. I agree James Bond should be a white man because that's how he's built. He's built as a white man from old money who
Mhm.
joins this secret organization that which is traditionally white men.
Yeah.
'Cause when it started, it's traditionally white men. And again,
Mhm.
Ian Fleming, who was an actual spy, created him. So he
Yeah.
created him based off him and his coworkers at the time to white
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
Now, if we're going to say, hey, James Bond is just a code name that they use, as well as 007, every 007 is James Bond. That's what they're doing. If they do that, cool. but his comment was kinda like, I
Yeah.
get it, but the way he said it, I mean,
It
but
was his reasoning more than
it's
anything,
his
like
reasoning, but he also made
yeah.
sense. It's
He wasn't
You
wrong.
gotta think
He
about
was
it.
not
Every
wrong.
every time a black actor is cast in a role, they
People
get
get pissed.
death
They
threat
get
the
lit. They get
the
irate. So
uh,
I get it from that sense. Like if he had said, "Look, every time a black person gets cast in one of these roles, y'all act like y'all don't know how to act. People get death threats, and I'm just not trying to deal with that." If he had just said that, I would have been like, "Cool."
he he said
But
it he
he said
one
it as if like their opinions matter and we should validate them.
well,
That's
he
the
said
that's
he
how it
made
came across to me.
I get he it was a
Yeah.
little more his answer was a little more political than trying to bash the fans, which he should have.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said that, James Bond is known around the world.
Yeah.
He's man of the world, and
Mhm.
people like James Bond. And if they see me, a black man as James Bond, they're not going to see this movie. The issue is, and
Who
again,
gives
like
a fuck about
it's
them?
not, but he has
Yeah.
a point though. It's not going to get played in places like China.
I mean, it's James
it's
Bond movie, bro. It's gonna make money
niggas
regardless.
gonna see
But
it regardless. Like I
people are
said,
gonna go
they
see it, and
they
people have been
talk
asking you to play this role for
they
years,
talk
bro.
shit about like I said, they talk shit about every at fucking the old girl from Obi-Wan series. That was a new character that was black and
Yeah,
they
I was about to
fucking
say
gave
that
her
wasn't even a
shit,
race
bro.
swap. That was a new
The
character.
fans still will watch it. But like I
Yeah,
said, there are
but
I agree,
people
there are
still
some
hated on her
places
though.
that
So
there are some places that's not gonna
yeah.
enjoy it. Like I said, I'm really mixed on that, dude.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'll say this as like, and then I'll get into my rating for
Get
Master of
to
the
the movie.
Universe. Yeah,
Then we can get out.
but but this is my general consensus on like race swapping or gender swapping when it comes to characters. As long as that aspect of the character is not an integral part of who they are, and changing that doesn't change the character fundamentally, I'm okay with it. For
Yeah.
example, you cannot make Black Panther anything other than a black man without fundamentally changing who that character is. You
Or Luke
cannot make
Cage.
you cannot do that with Luke Cage without fundamentally changing who that character is. Thor, you cannot make him anything other than a white man without fundamentally changing. He's a Norse god.
Well, I
You know
think
what I'm
I
saying?
so I
You
will
will
the thing I
fundamentally change some things about that character if you make him
about
anything other
Thor,
than
they
what he
fucked up
is.
when they made, Idris Elba fucking,
Heimdall. But
Heimdall
Heimdall is
because
different though. Like,
is
I
is
don't
is
view
is Heimdall not within, Norse mythology? And is
he
he not
is.
a
You got me there.
Norse god?
He
So,
is.
like but also, like, they got Asian ones. So, like,
Yeah.
Thor,
That is, you
again,
know
when
what?
you
You
think
got me there. Thor
but
may be a little bit of wiggle room, but
when you picture Thor, you picture a
yeah,
white man, long
yeah,
blonde hair,
yeah,
Viking.
yeah,
But I get your point. There are some
yeah.
characters that you just absolutely can't
Like their
change. Like I
culture
said,
is rooted in their
yeah,
identity and who they are. So like changing that, you would fundamentally change the character,
and
right?
James Bond is just not one of those
James
people.
Bond,
There
James
are
Bond being white
hundreds of
is not an
British
integral part of who that character
there are
is. It's
hundreds
just
of
not.
British black men
Yes,
or
yes.
black men or
That's
Scottish
my
black
point.
men or yeah,
Yes.
I got you. Like I said,
Yeah, you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
honestly I'm torn between it. I again or just give us a fucking a James Bond spinoffs, man, which they're not gonna
Yeah,
do because
they're
James
not gonna
Bond
do that.
has so much shit around it. We might not even get another movie with the shit that, Amazon is doing.
And we just got a game which I still need to get. So yeah,
Not
I
getting
need
that anytime soon.
yeah, I know games is
I
$100 million
really
now.
I really want my nephew I might have to get on his, game share, dog, but he game share with somebody else, and, I know. I don't wanna
Damn.
come in and be like, "Yeah, go ahead, tell that nigga to leave."
You might have to go and tell that nigga to leave. I'm kinfolk. He gotta go. He
Thi
gotta go. I'm kinfolk. That nigga
uh,
gotta go.
but real quick, I think that again, I'm gonna go back into a negative, is I think it's a good movie, but the storytelling in here is and now that I'm thinking about it, it's kinda bad, honestly. There's things aren't given explanations, like Skeletor. I think Adam asked him like, "Why are you doing this?" or some shit like that, and he don't even say, "Because I can, because I want to, because I wanna be just evil."
Fuck.
It's really bad at storytelling. Like I said, there's a story here, there's a story that is being told, but some of the smaller details, it's just nothing there.
Could have been
And
tightened up.
and
Yeah.
when you have a movie this focused, again, when you have a movie like this where it hasn't been a movie since '87, that's like 39 years at this point. I think you need a little more information. This not like a Spider-Man movie or a Batman movie or a Superman movie where we've seen the history of this character multiple times throughout the years. We just haven't. And to be honest with you, He-Man is not that big of a sell, even though they have had multiple cartoons since then, so that's cool. But, he's really
He's not
not
a
that big of a
character that's like, you if you just walked up to a random person and tell me the
yeah.
backstory of He-Man,
I'm
most
like,
people ain't just gonna be able to tell you,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't care, honestly.
Yeah,
So
you feel me? Like, most
so
people ain't gonna be able to just have that knowledge offhand.
some of these things could have been a little more fleshed out,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
but
I'm
I
with
I
you.
mean, outside of that, I think it was a good movie, and like you said, I don't think it's any other, except Adam getting mollywopped in the back of the
Yeah.
head. Uh,
Dog.
the last thing outside of him being mollywopped, so if you've ever seen the original cartoon, Adam is really small and skinny, and He-Man is fucking cock beast.
Yeah.
Um, they do they fix this by throwing him in oversized clothes.
Yep. So that when he turns into He-Man, his
The
muscles are more
nigga just
pronounced.
yeah,
I
he just
peeped
take his
that.
clothes off and I'm
Yeah, I
like,
peeped that.
because I'm looking at him like, why is this nigga clothes so big?
Yep.
Um,
Because they
so
had to hide the fact that he had all the muscles on, he wasn't He-Man. Nah,
like,
I peeped that. I peeped that.
and he's really I hate to say this, but he's really soft.
Yeah.
He's really soft character when he's not He-Man.
Yeah.
Um, like, I think somebody just, like, really, like, push him out the way. He just gives up. He goes to the gym and the nigga can't bench 135, and if you look when you look at this nigga, 135 is the least of his problems benching. Very
Yeah.
so,
So
that that that
where you rating it?
that kinda pissed
How you
me off.
feeling?
I was gonna let you go. Or no, I go first. Imma give it a polite applause. I kinda wanted to go standing ovation, but then again, as we're talking about the movie, I really did enjoy myself.
Mhm.
I I thought it was way funnier than, it was gonna be, but then again, like I said, kinda went overboard. I'm not a fan of Jared Leto, but him as Skeletor, and I don't know if it was Jared Leto or if it was if whoever was gonna be funny, but Jared Leto did his thing as Skeletor. He played it really well. The only thing I wish they would have had is the scene where he ran up like the meme
Yeah, the
where he's
part
like,
he ran
"Next
off.
time," and
Yeah.
he, like, runs off.
Yeah.
I wish they woulda had that because that's just funny as shit. At the end of the day, I'll give it a polite applause. I would definitely go see this in theaters because we need to get more franchises that we don't already have. It'd be nice to get a sequel to this movie, possibly a trilogy, and I think the end credit scenes do a very good job of setting up a possible next movie.
I'm gonna agree and I'm gonna go with a low polite applause. I think this movie it hit like just above the threshold of being really enjoyable. And the critiques I do have, they aren't like so bad that they like take away from the enjoyment too much. Like overall, I still had a good time with this. Um, I just think that it could have been a lot shorter. I definitely think that there are a lot of comedic elements and comedic bits that just for me didn't land personally. There's more that didn't land than did. But on top of that, you do have really good dramatic moments, especially between Tila and Duncan. You have a really good performance by the main actor, Nicholas, as He-Man. I thought he did a really good job. Jared Leto as
You did
Skeletor
a great
steals the
job.
show. Visually, this movie is incredible to look at. The action set pieces are really cool. So, like, overall, the things you came here for, like all the things you want out of a He-Man Master of the Universe movie, they're all present in this and they're all executed well. So on that note, this movie does what it's supposed to. So I'm gonna give it a polite applause. I think that it executes on all the major points. Like if you had a checklist of all the things you needed a He-Man movie to do, I don't think you're gonna leave a whole lot of boxes unchecked on this one. There's just some decisions story wise and some decisions pacing wise that if they had just been changed could have made the movie better, but overall, what we got was a quality finished product. But let us know your thoughts on Master of the Universe if y'all have seen it. I haven't seen the box office numbers on these, so I don't know how it's performing. But let us know if y'all have seen it, what you think. Is this something y'all want to see more of? Do you want to see more Mattel products get made into films? I know that the last Transformers movie we got had a G.I. Joe
Don't
end
forget about
credit
Barbie.
scene on it. So you said what?
Don't forget about Barbie,
Oh,
also in the
Barbie
film.
too. Barbie too. You know, we gotta include them. I mean, that's actually the most successful one. So to
Probably,
be
yeah,
honest,
100%,
that
yeah.
yeah, that's the most successful one financially out of all of these. So let us know y'all thoughts if y'all have seen it. If not, definitely will recommend you guys go check it out. But I don't think it's like you have to go see it in the theater. You can definitely check this out when it
You
comes
can
out on streaming.
you can wait.
You know, yeah. So but always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. And until next time, this is the Real Junkies. Peace.